This list is going to be completely about how I perform and aim with the mouse and how much do I enjoy playing games with it, and quality and value for money will not matter as much. At the end of the day, in-game performance and aim is the most important thing for me, and it should be for you as well. Holy shit, it's hard to pick a third best mouse. The top 2 is clear for me, but there are so many options for the third place. I basically had the Maxi Ultimate AX, the Xtrfy M42, the Xtrfy M4, the Addice Wireless and the Superlight. I perform somewhat the same with all of these mice, but I do have to get rid of some, so the first one to go is the Ultimate AX. It's one of my all-time favorites, but I've just used it for far too long and I'm sort of bored of using it. The next one to go is the Xtrfy M42, and it's pretty much for the same reasons as the Ultimate AX, but it also isn't as high quality as the Ultimate is. The third one has to be the Superlight. This is one of the mice that's easiest to recommend for pretty much anyone. The shape is very safe, but I just don't love it personally that much. And so I'm left with 2 mice, the Addice Wireless Ace and the Xtrfy M4. I just reviewed the Addice Wireless, and the quality and the bang for buck isn't top notch, but the performance and the shape are top tier. The Xtrfy M4 I reviewed then again about a month ago. At the moment, this is my favorite asymmetrical mouse, and it's mainly because it's so good for claw grip in my opinion. The weird thing is that the first 2 mice on the list are a lot smaller than this one, but I pretty much grip these mice in the top 3 the same exact way. I tried to fit the detailed explanation of my new grip style into the video, but it went way too long, so I might do another video explaining my new main grip style, or whatever you want to say it. Let me know in the comment section if you want that video or not. Moving on to the number 2, and this is the biggest surprise for me. It's the Final Mouse Ultralight 2. I reviewed this mouse ages ago and I did not love it back then, but after I checked out the MZ1, I thought I had learned something new about how to grip these small mice, so I started testing it out again and learned a grip style that I actually love with this shape. Or actually 2 grip styles, and one is pincer claw. Pincer claw is really good in the sense that the size of the mouse does not matter too much. The only thing that is important for me is that the right side of the mouse has some kind of a pronounced hump. The Ultralight 2 is low profile, but it has enough there so I can pincer claw it comfortably. But the main grip style I've been actually using with this mouse is sort of a relaxed claw. And there is a lot of similarities in the way I grip the M4 and the Ultralight 2. These 2 grip styles and the buttons of the Ultralight 2 are the main reason why I absolutely love it. The clicks on this one are really nice. They are snappy and tactile, but they are still easy to actuate. These are possibly some of the best clicks I've ever tried without the AX. The mouse of course has some issues. For example, it has a lot of side flex and I can actuate the side buttons really easily, but it doesn't happen to me in the game, so I don't really care about it that much. The scroll wheel is not that nice, it's quite smooth. I would want something a little bit more tactile. And I would prefer the mouse feet to be a little bit larger, so the mouse would be a little bit smoother with rough surfaces. And of course the performance is not the best, as it's pretty much locked with 500 Hz. You can actually use drivers from another manufacturer to set it at 1000 Hz. But I haven't done it myself. And these grip tapes are here because I do not like the holes on the sides, and the plastic isn't grippy at all. While I was at it, I of course paracorded the mouse as well. I think the stock cable is okay, but paracords are much better. And I also have Tiger Arc feet on the mouse, so the end up cost is something like 140–150 euros, so it's not cheap for a wired mouse that runs on 500 Hz. But I aim extremely well with this mouse and I feel very mobile because it's so lightweight and small. So I will of course keep using it, but this is one of those mice that I do not recommend for you to buy unless you can find it for a lot cheaper than it was available for retail. I mean, to be honest, 120 euros or dollars for this mouse is pretty insane. And after that, let's go check out the number 1, which was also a massive surprise for me, but in a different sense than the Ultralight 2. It's the Pwnage Symmetrical 2, and I actually never expected the main mouse from Pwnage after having reviewed their first initial models. Well, maining is one thing, but I didn't really even expect to call their mice good after my initial video. The wireless performance was just horrible. But hey, here we are with the Symmetrical 2, and the wireless performance and the click latency is actually very good with this one. Not quite up to par with the Superlight, but it's pretty much the same as on the Addice Wireless and the X-Lite Wireless, which have very good implementations, and it might even have the same exact components and firmware. Combine that with the near perfect shape for me, from which I cannot give props to Pwnage themselves for obvious reasons, but I actually think that this slightly larger Razor Viper mini shape is even better for me. The Symmetrical 2 is far from perfect, just like the Ultralight 2 was. For example, it has developed some creaking near the replaceable top shell, and the clicks are not as light as I would like. These are just not the most spammable buttons. And the right click has become more mushy than it was initially. It also has these holes on the sides and the plastic does not feel premium whatsoever, but these are not the standard honeycomb-like holes and the edges are rounded, so these do not feel that horrible. And lastly, It's by no means light for the size. I would want it to be like 60 or 65 grams. But at the end of the day, I personally have to forgive all of these for the shape. The way I grip the Symmetrical 2 is pretty much the exact same way as I grip the Ultralight 2, so again a fairly specific and weird relaxed claw, and also at times I enjoy pincer clawing as well. And the mouse is higher profile and longer than the Ultralight 2, so it does feel quite a bit larger. I feel that the size difference does give me some more control, and I lose pretty much no mobility. Especially during the humid summer where my sweaty palm could be touching the mousepad. All in all, I haven't been this precise with a mouse since the Xtrfy M42 that I actually used for months. It took me quite a while to reach that level with the M42, and I pretty much hit that in about 2 weeks with the Symmetrical 2. I performed just as well in a competitive match with the Ultimate AX and a few others than I do with the Symmetrical 2, and I want to actually say that that applies specifically to CS and Valorant. I do actually prefer these smaller mice for fast-paced games like Quake, for example. And in some situations Apex applies that fast pace as well. But my first shot accuracy is very rarely just as good as it is with this one. Now, just as the Ultralight 2, it's pretty hard for me to recommend this mouse for you guys. It costs 110 euros or dollars on MaxGaming, and the quality and the feel of the mouse does not match that price in my opinion. Just like it doesn't with the Addice Wireless Ace. That being said, the most important thing for me is of course how I perform and aim in game, and that I actually enjoy playing. It sounds weird, but those of you guys who have tested multiple products know that this can happen. It's not really that important for me to want to game every day because I'm not trying to go pro anymore. But for those of you who want to compete and want to be the best, you really need that motivation and you need to enjoy the game you're playing. But don't get into the rhythm of buying new mice every month for motivation. That's pretty much it. Let me know in the comment section if you were surprised by my choices, and let me know your own top 3 as well. Check this video right here if you want to see my full Addice Ace wireless review, and this one for my old Ultralight 2 review. The video isn't as well produced as some of my newer stuff, but the content is still good. I'll also put my wireless roundup videos somewhere around the screen for more details about the opponent Symmetrical 2. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button, and see you in the next one.